Hello and welcome back with another episode of Alphanerd Plays. The game to get to play today is Gears of War Judgement. Joining me is Tony.
G'day Graham, how's things, mate?
Good, thank yourself.
Yeah, very good indeed.
We'll let this intro play, then we'll get cracking.
To go back there and make sure the bastard's dead. Move, Lieutenant Baird.
There goes the record. What? I'm like a lieutenant to war criminal in less than a week.
As you were. The accused are denied any right to an attorney and may not question the authority of this tribunal.
So we can't ask why you're doing this now.
At the conclusion of this tribunal, I will issue a fair and swift verdict.
Right. Of course you will.
Colonel, are we being charged with doing our job?
The charges will be defined as I hear your testimony. Now, Lieutenant Baird, begin with the last time we saw each other. I've been a lieutenant for a week, so when I was told reinforce the supply convoy, I was ready to show off my stuff. That's one way to describe your behavior, Lieutenant.
So Tony, this game is actually set before the previous, the Gears trilogy, about 14 years before Gears of War 1.
Ah, so no Marcus Phoenix.
No Phoenix, no Dom, those characters don't exist. We have two existing characters. The main one I'm playing out is Baird, Lieutenant. We also have, I can't see now, but Augustus Coltrane. The one I'm looking at there. Two new characters. This dude, Garron Paduk, I don't know why he's Russian, but he is. And a new female character, Sofia Hendrick.
Hendrick, yeah.
I don't recall them having any mention in the other trilogy, so maybe I don't know. Maybe they die at the end of the game. I don't know. Yeah, so it's set just after Emergence Day, and Baird's team of Kilo Squad is sent off to defend an area, which apparently they do pretty well, but obviously they pissed off the wrong bunch of people and got themselves on trial. Look, it's still a Gears game. It's still got the same cover mechanic, which is just brilliant, works and has always worked.
Yeah, which is perfect,
It's pretty much perfect. I think it's probably the best cover mechanic I think I've played in any game.
Yeah.
It's still got, still left trigger to focus, right trigger to fire. A couple other things have changed. You can now fire grenades using a separate key. Whereas before it used to be a switchable weapon to do that.
Yeah,
so that makes the game a little bit easier to flow.
Even though it's a small delay, it's enough of a delay to throw your gameplay. Yep.
Still got the same sort of weird going through locked doors mechanic as there was in the previous games. But it works.
And again, they have to disguise load time somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good way to do it.
It's understandable.
Bay for a few days. We'd see some action. but nothing like, you know. Nothing like what, Lieutenant? Nothing like Karn, sir.
So this game still looks very good.
Look at
They've
that.
done it. They're getting every grunt out of the what is now what, 6 or 7 year old
7-year-old console. They're squeezing
every inch out of
last bit out of it, aren't they?
Yeah, they've done it very good, very well. So it's still got the same old grubs.
Old friends back.
There's old friends back. Still got the old perfect reload if you can do it. Oh, good throw there. Not big one. Dialogue in the game is as usual, pretty silly.
The standard game subtle Russian accent.
Yes. The tickers are annoying. Yeah, so it's pretty much, it's still a Gears game. The story so far is a little bit silly. It's a nice way to show it, sort of tell it through these sort of flashbacks.
I like the idea of, so that they're at a military tribunal and each level is basically a recollection of how the mission went pear-shaped by each of the different members.
Yeah, so...
We went as fast as we could, sir. There was no saving that convoy.
And we're coming up on a new game mechanic they've added to this one, which is declassify, which allows you to change, not necessarily the objective of the mission, but some of the gameplay aspects of it. So this one, they've changed them, like dark wretches to replace normal wretches. So it sort of declassifies the mission, it changes it slowly, makes it a little bit harder.
It's a lovely idea as well. It's because everyone's recollection of the events will be slightly different. So it's a really nice
good play on that, I guess.
Yeah.
And also because they've introduced I think they took it from one of the previous modes in Gears of War 3, a sort of a ranking system for playing each of the various missions, and they've called it. They've given it a star ranking in this one, and those declassify modes increase effectively the multiplier in that particular, getting that score up. So if you turn on one of those declassified processes and go through the mission and meet that and get through it still, you get more stars and that sort of thing. So you see the star ranking in the top left hand corner. I haven't quite got to full star yet. Should be something going through here. You can always tell in the Gears game when you're about to hit an area it's going to have lots of ammo, lots of bad guys, because they put very conveniently placed cover plots everywhere. That might be time for a grenade in there.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
You still got the same ribbon system from the previous game, where if you get certain sort of events during the game, you'll get ribbons that popped up. I just got one called Clusterfuck, which is basically when you use a grenade to kill multiple enemies in one go.
Have you tried multiplayer on this one?
Haven't tried the multiplayer. They've changed it slightly. The horde mode is gone. They've replaced it with a sort of variations of it.
Oh, gee, that won't make people very happy.
Yeah, potentially. Although I think that's probably where mange of the complaints about it have been, is that the horde mode, the new mode, just isn't as fun. Or I'm not really sure. I haven't played it myself, so I couldn't tell you, give an answer on my perspective on that. There it is. Where is he? And there we go.
Took the wind out of your sails.
This is Lieutenant Baird.
This has been the fun thing always amusing me with Gears of War. They've got these really impressive weapons, but when you've got to talk to your sort of command people, you've got to walk really slowly and put your fingers to your ears.
It's physically impossible in the future to walk any faster than a stroll with two fingers on
two
your
fingers to
ear.
your ears, yeah, it's really weird.
The dangers of genetic modification.
That symbol means that there's a cog tag around, so they've still got these cog tag stuff to pick up, which I think I may pick this up another level, so it's around there somewhere. So you've got the same collectible stuff they've had in the previous games.
Nice.
So
Horde mode is that the only thing they've dropped out of previous Gears that you've noticed? Or
from what I can tell, yeah. I'm sure there's other things I haven't gone into the game a real lot. So we've almost got 2 stars. Do we get to 3 ribbons? Not quite to 3 stars. We get 2 stars.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
So far, in your proper playthrough at the moment, you're how far through would you imagine?
I think I'm playing with another friend of mine, and I think we've just finished Baird's testimony. I think is where we're up to. So we're probably about an hour and a half or so.
Nice.
So I think that's where we're up to. I can't quite remember.
The side the cog no longer controlled.
And the co-op still works pretty well, yeah?
Co-op works perfectly, yeah.
Right.
The game's actually made, the single-player campaign's actually made by People Can Fly, which made the very, I never actually played it, but lots of people enjoyed it, Bulletstorm from a few years back.
Oh, yes.
Which was a very fun game
gave
to play.
the world dictates.
Yes.
So this is the UIR sniper rifle. This isn't a gun.
And Epic's continued playing, still design the multiplayer side of things. That's probably why the multiplayer's pretty solid. But
Well, I'll tell you what, coming into it, it looks like they've really hit the ground running.
Yeah, no, they've done really well. I'm checking another declassifier. So this one's they're going to say that the unauthorised Hammer of Dawn strike took place in Old Town. So if we did it within 5 minutes, we would be good. I'm actually going to accept that one and see what it's like. If I fail it, I'd just die.
Nice. And now that it's activated, the stars accumulate faster.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you've got the counter in the top. The counter's at the top there. 5 minutes to go.
Counting down. So no pressure at all.
No pressure whatsoever. In fact, I'm just going to jump right over here, go right through this way.
How's the AI on the teammates?
It's pretty good. The one thing is if you do get down in combat, they revive you incredibly quickly.
Yeah,
and also
remarkably quickly compared to previous.
And also, they will go through hell on earth. Whoops, that's someone I picked up to do. They will go through hordes of enemies just to get to you, in order to save you. So they'll put themselves on the line to do it. So,
Big Charlie.
here's a big bastard. There we go. Oh, still in there. Wait till his head pops up. There we go.
Thank you very much.
Oh, got him. And we'll just do an execute on him.
Oh, take that. Okay, 3 minutes 30.
3 minutes 30. This is going to go. Probably not going to make this one, but we'll see.
It's a nice idea. It sort of opens it up to replayability.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't believe that the so you can pretty much do it on any difficulty level, so there's nothing sort of stopping you from doing all that stuff on easy, just to get through it and to see what the variations that these transformations do. So
well, that's good. Oh, it's a nice idea. It certainly changes your approach to each level
yeah,
as well.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, 2 minutes 30. Oh, you sneaky horde bastards! Look at them.
We've got 2 minutes left, so not looking too bad here. And there we go. Let's just get inside this outpost.
Nicely done, sir.
We've done this one. So there we go. So we've now almost probably nearly get a 3-star rating out of that. Let's just see. 1 star, declassified mission, straight through 2. Not quite to 3. Not quite to 3.
Close.
So close. But so there, it changes the thing. Obviously, if I had not got through that point in 5 minutes, it would have just killed us all, and we've had to replay it. So. It does change up the game quite nicely. It's a very neat way of doing it.
Yeah, it's a nice idea. It's a nice
without having to
addition.
and not without having to change the storyline at all. You're just changing one small mechanic that has no.
Did you see that? She had a beard for a moment.
Oh, did she? I didn't saw that.
Luckily, we're recording. There she is. What's going on there?
Glance there somewhere. Oh, I've got him. Oh, that's alright. And crank up the lantern and get through this door.
Yes.
There we go.
A bit of encouragement there.
It's always fun doing this. I'm not going to do... What's this one? This is... Use hammerburst shot off. And there we go. So that's changing your weapons only. So it's saying only use hammerburst, short off shotguns, and one-shots only to do this next bit. I'm going to decline that one. So I'm not really a big fan of the hammerburst myself.
Lancer, still your...
Lancer's still the one to go.
It's hard to say no, isn't
it?
Yes.
Jump over this bit.
We got a healing canvas.
Tickers. You've still got the active perfect reload mechanism too. If you want to do a quick reload to get it right in the middle of the marker, you get it reload quicker. There we go, nailed it. So they've not changed anything they didn't need to change. Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it or stuff. Mentality to it. So
they've given enough tweaks to make it their own.
To make it their own, and it's probably with the declassification was probably their idea. I'm not too sure where that idea came from, but
yeah,
they haven't changed anything they didn't need to. Ooh, nice shot over that one.
Nasty, yeah.
You see how quickly the guys come across, so there's 3 of them right across from me. I might just try and get across. Hopefully
they're all a little busy at the moment.
So I'll just get across. There we go, and I've been alive.
Paduk.
Jammed it again. Come on, there we go. Back to it. Oh, nice. Oh, little chickens, take them little bastards.
Oh,
down again. Jesus.
So how quick was Cole to get you back up there?
Yes, so if they're right next to you, they'll just take you down. They'll just pick you right up. So
nice.
We need some ammo. Running a bit short. Hopefully we won't get nailed in this little section.
Yeah.
Quickly get into cover. Alright, let's go up. Up here because there's a lovely weapon up here that's useful to get rid of those sniper guys.
Yes,
Here we go.
Long shots.
Nice.
Back here. Right, let's have a look who we've got here. Right. Oh, I missed him. That's embarrassing.
He was incredibly lucky, I'll say that for him.
There we go. That one's
That's better. Yes.
Not so fast. Yep, can't see through the smoke. There he is.
There we go.
Oh, we've got 2 down there.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh, couldn't return the favour. Oops, bit of a waste of ammo that one. something in the middle of it.
Nice.
Ah, jammed it. Oh, he's a nasty bastard.
Yeah.
Ow, fucking jammed it again.
Oh, that took care of
That's
it.
nasty. We've got someone up. We've got someone up there. No, we don't. Ooh.
Very nice.
Incoming frag!
Whoa! Oh, sorry. Didn't expect there's anyone to be there. Back to the Lancer. I think we've done enough damage with the old one shot.
Okay.
Ooh, it's finishing off.
His misery.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, and someone got me. That was a silly thing to do. And revive within seconds. So yeah, it's the reviving is useful, but it does sort of imply that there's no real consequence to dying.
Yeah.
Because you'll just be revived literally within seconds, unless obviously you've been absolutely sort of, even your other guys have been, you know, sort of completely surrounded. They won't get you in time. But that's
And that's it. The upside is you'll be back in the action very quickly.
yeah, which is useful, but and it means that there's no sort of break in the action for you. But as I said, there's no consequence to dying now because you're just basically back within seconds. So
Yeah, it's not that this is a sim at all, but it's a little a big step towards arcadey sort of.
yes,
gameplay,
absolutely,
isn't it?
and making the game accessible and like sort of in terms that hardcore gamers just don't like anymore, have not liked for years. But I mean, the problem in the gaming industry is in such a state that games aren't going to take big risks.
No.
And they've got such a massive amount of money poured into making them that they can't take those risks, so therefore they have to make the game easier, for the want of a better term.
They don't want to narrow their potential market, no.
Potential market down to people who don't like that sort of game, so...
Shut.
What have we got?
Is that all of them? Yeah, I doubt it. They're coming.
There we go. That's it.
Some big boys.
Oh, perfectly placed.
Ooh.
Right between them.
Oh, you soften them up.
Yep. Got him while he wasn't looking. Chickens.
Nice use.
Nice use of a ticket.
Yes. Always nice to get an assist from the enemy. Very nice.
And there we go. Got through that one.
Never seen so many grubs in one place before.
Yeah, that was a good firefight.
It is, yeah. That's what the Gears games are known for, just throwing hundreds and hundreds of enemies, what's what it seems like anyway,
Yeah.
at you and just letting you do your best. Yeah, a couple of headshots, bit of Gibbs, excellent. Do I get 3 stars? Oh, I died a couple of times, so yeah, that always takes you back. And you get some stats there, so timing covers 4 minutes. Perfect active reloads, 12, excellent. I got down 3 times and 35 kills, so there we go.
That's not bad. Not bad. I'm enjoying the stars. It's nice that they balance it by removing stars for
exactly,
for going a bit too gung ho.
To go home and getting yourself killed, yeah. Yeah, this is another game. We're about into a new section, not a new section, obviously a new section, but a new slight change to what they've done with the regular mission-based stuff. Is they've introduced a bit of the horde mode into the missions by sort of setting up this sort of where you've got to set up some defences and basically withstand a wave of the various grubs and co. This is normally just has been only in their previously in their horde mode, the multiplayer, but now they've introduced it into here. So it's an interesting way to break up the sort of the linear.
Yeah, it's a nice way to do it. Yeah.
Linear sort of gameplay you normally have in pretty much any game like this. So just check up a couple of these things. We'll just make that
Sentry guns.
So they're automated guns that'll sort of look at that area and just shoot what they see.
Nice, and your choice.
So you've got good weapons. That basic ammo thing will never run out. So I'll just keep adding it there. So we can grab a shotgun if we want to.
If you want to get up close and nasty.
Got the Lancer there.
Lancer's the way to go.
We've got a couple of grenades. We'll grab those. You can declassify this one. They say this one alleged that the Onyx Guard units improperly set up the defences and that Nemesis infiltrated at the museum. So by doing that, it would obviously be harder. So we're not going to worry about that one. We'll practically finish through this little level and we'll call this thing over. I think we might be ready to go a crack at this one. Let's see what we've got. Just have a quick look here. I get you. Finish.
Oh, gold.
Uh-oh, counterpoint.
Boom yourself.
And down he goes. So that's the first wave. I think there's a 2 or 3 when this actual one goes along.
That can't be all of them. Collect some gear and get ready for more.
Yeah, it's a nice idea to break up the gameplay.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
sort of thing, yeah.
And the horde mode is really, really well done. It's a brilliant little mode. And as I said, they've changed it with this thing called Overrun, which I think sort of puts so you got a team on the Locust and a team on, like, it used to be that you were playing a wave of a horde of, or a wave, contingent waves of of locusts.
Uh-huh.
Whereas now they've changed it so that you've got 2 teams of human players, and one will take locust and one will take the cog team. So they've changed it slightly from that perspective.
That's interesting. Nice to see how they got the balance with that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the same thing as before. You've still got the same way of sort of having.
Ah, now a turret out of ammo.
Out of
so
ammo,
that's a nice touch.
It's a nice touch. You've got to refill it. Oops, oh fuck! Just jammed it. Got it. Oh, someone's down in the front there. Let's see if I can get.
Nice grenade down there.
We're going to see if I can revive whoever that is. There we go. Oh, thank you. Won't forget it. That's nice of you. Do some flanking maneuvers here. Oh, they're breaking through.
Fella.
Oh,
and down.
Down he goes. Who's that?
Oh. Oh!
Now, if he kills me, the game is... Oh, there we go, revived.
Thanks, Sofia. Oh, he's persistent.
Ah, you fuck off. I was trying to use the lantern, saw him in half, but I couldn't get it going in time. Kept on shooting, getting at me.
Oh, and the other turret out of ammo as well.
So let's go feed him with some bullets. Okay. So it's good that they don't just sort of continually run out and just don't hold on forever. So you've got to manage them as a bit of micromanagement.
Yeah,
want a better
you
term.
need to be able to manage.
Be aware of what's going on and what's.
Oh.
These guys have got to get from the side because of. Just so everyone knows, we are playing on easy to get through this quickly, so that's why it's a little bit easier than it probably should be. But
just for illustration purposes.
Illustration purposes, so
we don't advise anyone actually playing it on easy.
No, I would definitely at least normal or above.
If we don't hurry, they're not going to make it.
And there we go. So that's basically broken up the regular gameplay with a bit of a horde mode chucked in. So
nice. So what are your thoughts so far then, Graham, with what you've played so far? Is it a buy? Is it a rent? Is it a?
It's definitely a buy. If I'm not 100% convinced from what I've been reading that the multiplayer changes are wanted. I think they probably should have just stuck with what they had because I think the horde mode worked. And that was one of the big things about the horde mode. It was just so popular. So to change that may turn off a few players. But if you just like a good old, silly story with the over-the-top action and lots of blood and guts, then yeah, from a single-player perspective, it's... And also co-op, you can also obviously play it in co-op.
And again, the little bit I've seen, it looks very rewarding.
Yes.
If you're a Gears fan, I don't think you'll be
absolutely.
You'll be
if you're a Gears fan, you won't be disappointed. Absolutely not. A couple of ribbons and we go backwards. You've got to die a couple of times. No headshots that time. Oops, 31 kills. Yeah. Well, I think we might leave it here, Tony.
Yeah, well, that gives people a bit of a
taste
of
for it.
What to expect.
But if you've played the previous Gears games, you won't be disappointed. If you've played it for the co-op side, the multiplayer horde mode, you might be disappointed with the changes they've made. I can't comment on that because I'm not a big multiplayer fan. But yeah, absolutely. If you've played the previous ones, go and buy it.
I think I'll be grabbing this. I've got to...
You've got to play the first two first. The other three first.
The ever-growing list of shame. Yes, I do have 2 and 3 to finish before I play this, but it's very tempting.
It is. And the thing about it, I'm not too sure how they're going to handle the transition, because it is a prequel to the previous 3, so I don't know how they're going to sort of handle the change of characters, because in the previous games, Baird is a really annoying character. He's a bit over the top, but he's
a real showman, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an absolute showman. But this one they've scaled him back, so how they progress to how he sort of turns into, I don't know how they'll handle that. Obviously, when I've had a chance to finish the game completely, I might be able to more comment on that. But yeah, Absolutely. Go buy it. All right. Thanks, Tony.
Okay, thanks, Graham. We'll catch you again next time for Alphanerd Plays.